started. I would like to welcome everybody to the Academic eRecruit training. My name is Susan Groshong, and I'm your host for this session. I want to first thank you for taking the time to invest in your own development and participate in this year's Staff Recognition Week training seminars. We're happy to be able to bring you 30 sessions over 3 days of learning and hope that you can participate in some of the other activities this week as well. So I'll go on and kind of introduce, but really just I'm going to hand it over to Leslie Patre. She is from our very own HR office, and I'm going to let her just take it away from here. Thank you, Leslie.
No problem. Thank you. All right. So my name is Leslie Patre, and I am the Academic HR Specialist for the Mizzou campus. I am a one-stop shop for all things academic posting and offer-related duties. I have been with the university since 2015 and in this role since January of 2019. As many of you already know, recruitment processes are constantly changing. So even though I've been here for 2.5 years in this role, I still feel like I'm learning something new every day. So I want to tell you that so you don't ever feel bad about asking questions, because things change all the time and I'd rather you just ask instead of just guess. So never feel bad about writing or calling. That is exactly what I'm here for, is to help to get this academic recruitment process to run as smoothly as possible. I also want to state, as of yesterday, I am now also going to be the IDE contact for academic recruitment process purposes. Erica Aaron has taken on a new role in the College of Business. So if you are used to reaching out to her regarding diversity recruitment plans or candidate pool approval, you will now just need to reach out to me, and you do not need to include her because she probably won't respond. All right, so today we are going to talk about the different processes within eRecruit. We will learn how to create a job posting, screen, disposition, communicate with candidates, create a job offer, and accept a job offer. As I go through the steps, please feel free to write in the chat box if you have any questions. No need to wait until the end to answer the questions. I will try to answer any as we go throughout the presentation. But before we move forward, can you please write in the chat what you are hoping to learn about today in this training? And maybe I can try and focus a little more on those topics if need be. So if you have anything, feel free to put it in the chat box. Everything? All right. Overall process. Well, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And then, yes, I will definitely talk about the new changes that went into effect on Friday. Perfect. Think I can answer those. Okay, so the best place to start whenever you have questions, if you can't reach me, is to go to this link. I highly suggest that you favorite it because you need to go here no matter what when you're working on academic recruitment. This is our HRS website, and it's the section that has all our faculty hiring documents that you might need. Before entering anything into eRecruit, the first thing you have to do is to get a position number. For new academic postings, the department should use a current or soon to be unoccupied position number, or if they do not have a position number, they need to email their CAPS representative for a new position number. Unlike staff postings, you do not do PCQs for academic postings. You can reach CAPS directly to get a position number. You should not use a part-time position number if you're posting for a full-time position. You will need to request the data to be changed by CAPS before entering it into eRecruit. If you wait to do it afterwards, it won't automatically update and things won't work properly. Once you have the position number and appropriate internal approvals, you may initiate the posting in the recruiting module. To create a job posting, you can get there from multiple different ways. You can click recruiting from the homepage drop-down menu if it's not already displayed, or you can choose the recruiting homepage tile, then recruiting activities, and then choose create job opening on the quick links panel on the left side of the recruiting activities homepage. Once you click create job opening, a box will appear where you must enter the primary job opening information. The job opening type should auto-populate to standard requisition, and the business unit will automatically populate to column. Once you enter the position number, the department, job code, and job posting title will automatically load. You will then need to select the recruiting location, which most likely will be 1012-Columbia. Extension might have some other ones that they use, depending on where the job is actually going to be located. Once you do that, you will now be taken to the job information tab. You will want to start at the top and move down the page, completing any required fields. The first section will automatically populate from the info you provided on the page before. The target openings will be based on how many position numbers you have listed below. If you add more position numbers, the target opening field will increase to match. The desired start date, type of position, job posting justification, and funding source are all now required fields. These have all changed since last Friday. For type position, you will need to select new if this is a newly created role, or you use replacement if you're replacing someone that has or will be leaving the role. If you select replacement, you will need to enter the employee being replaced, their info ID farther down on the page, which I'll show you. For job posting justification, it's either standard recruitment or an abridged hire reason. I think in the past, before Friday, it was called status reason, but now it says job posting justification, and that makes a little more sense and clarifies what we're actually looking for. For funding source, you either choose 100% grant, gift, or external funded, or you choose operational auxiliary funded. Some questions that have already come up since Friday is, what if it's 90% grant funded and only 10% us? You're going to go ahead and still choose operational auxiliary funded because some of it is. You only choose the grant, gift, or external funded if it's 100% from a grant. This is going to be important in the future. We haven't made all the changes yet, but if we see this, we might actually shorten the approval chain. So your job posting will get posted faster, because if you have already had the money, who are we to say, no, you can't post that position because you are fully funding it yourself. All right, the academic only box should also be completed for academic postings. You must choose either 9-month or academic. The academic choice means 12-month position, and then of course 9-month means 9-month. Why academic doesn't say 12-month? I have no idea. All right, here's a list of all the approved academic reasons for a job posting. Standard recruitment is used the most often for all new full search recruitments. It used to be called new authorization. So now it makes a little more sense and means more what it actually stands for. So standard recruitment, that's where you're going to do a full search. You don't know who you're hiring. You want people to apply. All the others that say a CAD at the beginning are abridged hire options. A CAD exception / postdoc intern, that should only be used for, of course, postdocs or let's say vet med residents, intern match programs. The rest of the options listed are all other academic hires, academic abridged hires. You should select whichever one matches what was selected on the abridged hire justification form that you will upload under the attachment section. And they're pretty self-explanatory. All right, as you continue down the page, you need to make sure the primary location is filled in and checkmarked. The recruiting locations is filled in and checkmarked, and the primary position number is checkmarked. Remember, if you're hiring for more than one headcount, you need to add additional position numbers here. If you're posting this position to replace an employee, that is leaving, this is where you're now required to enter the employee's employee ID under the employees being replaced section. Finally, remember to make sure the primary job code is also checkmarked. The staffing information comes from the position number. Make sure it is correct with the job you're posting. If it is not correct, stop entering in information and contact your CAPS rep to get the position number information updated. You will have to restart creating the position over from the beginning. PeopleSoft is unable to update the position number information in middle of a position creation. So let's say this is, you type in the position number, you start entering the information, you get to here, realize that it says it's a part-time position and it's actually a full-time. You stop, you contact CAPS, they update it. It's still going to say part-time here until we delete it all and re-enter it. So that's why it's usually important to just get it done beforehand so you don't have to redo some of your work. All right, and then under the salary information, you do not have to complete any of this, just leave the section blank. Next, we'll move to the hiring team. To add the correct recruiter team, you will need to click Add a Recruiter Team button and then select Column Academic Recruiting Team. So the correct names will autofill. I should be checked as a primary for all new authorizations. All abridged hires and School of Medicine NTT or unranked titles should select Keisha Jones as primary. Keisha does not do anything with these postings. That is just a way for the system to know what jobs need to be screened before going to the department. To enter hiring managers, you will click the Add Hiring Manager button and then search for the individuals you would like to add. Make sure you select yourself as the primary hiring manager. To enter interviewers, you will click the Add Interviewer button and then search for the individuals you would like to add. If the search committee will have interviewers who are not MU employees, you will not be able to add them here. You will need to upload a list of their names under the Activities and Attachments tab. The candidate materials will have to be downloaded and emailed to these members when the time comes to review candidates. For the interested parties section, you will want to click the Add Interested Parties Team button and then select Column Academic Interested Parties. Please pay close attention to this because this is from the same drop-down list of the recruitment team, and it says Column Academic Recruitment Party or Column Academic Interested Parties. So you want to make sure you choose the right one when you're under interested parties because it's a different group. By selecting Column Academic Interested Parties, this will automatically add Chris Riley Tillman and an IDE contact. You need to delete the IDE contact from the list for all abridged hires of School of Medicine NTT or School of Medicine unranked titles. The IDE contact was, again, Erica Aaron, but she did take on a new role. So when you use it right now, it only is going to show up Chris Riley Tillman. And my name's not going to be there because I'm already listed somewhere else. But in the future, you might see a second name if we do have someone fill that position in the future. You may now go to the job posting tab. You will want to then click on the Add Job Posting button. Do not complete the step if this is an abridged hire. This tab is what is going to show on our website. So if it's an abridged hire, you don't want anything to show on our website because you know who is going to get the job. This is only if you're actually trying to get candidates to apply. Do not, posting, once you click the Add Job Posting button, it will take you to a page where you can build the job posting that will appear on the Find a Job webpage. First, you will want to edit the posting title. Edit this title to spell out the actual title or titles that you're posting for. So this is pulling from the position number, and you know that our titles are shortened, but when we are posting on the website, we don't want it to say prof, assistant. We want it to say assistant professor. That is a little more clear for people who are looking for jobs. And also you don't know who you want to hire for some jobs. You might want to hire an assistant or an associate professor, depending on their qualifications. So this is where you would want to change it to spell out exactly the different options this title might have. Because if you did only post assistant professor, and then you find something like, oh no, this person should be an associate professor. If you did not have it in the job posting that it could possibly be associate professor, I will not be able to approve the offer. You will either have to hire them as an assistant professor, or you'll have to do a whole new search so they can apply to an associate professor. This is just to make sure that we are being fair. Someone might have seen the job that would have been a great candidate, but since it wasn't posted as associate, they didn't apply. But if they had known it could be associate, they would have applied. So again, just make sure you spell out any potential title that you might use for this hire. When creating the online job posting, there are certain fields that are required and then some that are optional. All academic job postings must have the job description, qualifications, and the benefit eligibility language. All other fields are optional and up to the department if they want to include. However, we do request that you do not list a numerical amount under salary in the job posting. Again, this is to protect you. If you write $80,000 on the salary and then you want to hire the person at 81, we would not be able to do it. So it's best just to leave it blank and say, depending on your qualifications, and then you'll have a much wider range that you can hire with. Right. To create the individual boxes for the different information, you will need to click on Add Posting Description button, and then on the drop down for description type, you will select the field. You will then select the visible drop down to select internal and external. The only time you may want to just have information posted to external candidates is if you want to include the Columbia, Missouri information, since internal candidates already know about Columbia, Missouri. When selecting the benefit eligibility drop-down description type, you will also want to click the magnifying glass next to the description box. You will then want to select Colum ACAD benefit eligible yes option. Make sure you choose the one that says ACAD in it, because that's has language particular to academic postings. This will then auto-populate all the benefit language, EEO info, and the diversity statement, all in the benefit language box. You do not need to include the drop-down of EEO box or diversity statement box. These are separate options. We don't use them on the Columbia campus since it's in our benefit language. Those are used on other campuses, and that's why they're there. Within the qualifications box, the minimum qualifications need to be spelled out clearly. This is a new change within the last 1 to 2 years, depending on the title. Minimum qualifications must be clear and easily reviewed just from a CV alone, i.e., you would say PhD by time of appointment. Preferred qualifications should be stated as candidates will be evaluated on. You should not use the term preferred. This is to protect you if, for say, the candidate you selected needs an H-1B. The government takes preferred qualifications as minimum qualifications. So if you want to get someone with an H-1B, they look at our job posting and they see, oh, well, this person doesn't have the preferred PhD. They only have the master's that you said was the minimum qualifications. They probably won't give you that H-1B sponsorship. You'll have to go back and get someone else, and we really don't want that. So again, try to take preferred out and just change it to candidates who will be evaluated on. And also try to think how that's worded. A lot of people do erase preferred now and then change it to candidates will be evaluated on, but it still says PhD. That flow, that sentence flow doesn't really make sense. So you'd really change to candidates will be evaluated on level of degree or highest degree awarded. That makes a little more sense. The search committee already knows in their head, they're hoping to get a PhD, but it keeps it a little more open and protects you in the long run. It is important to remember minimum qualifications of candidates will be reviewed by HR, me. And if the candidate does not meet the minimum qualifications, then the department will not be able to see that applicant or consider them for the position. This is why it is very important to make sure that minimum qualifications state only the bare minimum needed to perform the job. All other qualifications wanted or preferred should be listed out below underneath the candidates will be evaluated on. I get a lot of emails saying, hey, we know this person applied, but we don't see them. And it's because they were too strict in their minimum qualifications. They might have said they needed 5 years of associate professor work in the past, and this person has 4.5. That person would not be routed to your department. So again, just bare minimum under minimum qualifications. Everything else you think you might want or know you want, you can put under candidates will be evaluated on. All right, here is an example of an approved qualification statement in a job posting. You can see that the minimum qualifications are separate from the preferred qualifications. The minimum qualifications are quantifiable and can be easily found on a CV. When listing the required degrees, you should remember to state if they need to have the degree by time of appointment or by the time that they apply. This becomes very important for when I review applicants that are in their last semester of their degree program. The candidate will be evaluated on section is where you would note what the search committee is looking for in a candidate on top of the basic requirements. These items can be more broad. So in the past, a lot of people would put under minimum qualifications, record of excellence in teaching. Yes, I can see on a CV that they taught in the past, but I don't know if that's a record of excellence. So just that would again fall under candidates will be evaluated on. That's not quantifiable, so that cannot be a minimum qualification. All right, at the bottom of the job posting page, you will need to add 2 posting destinations, 1 external posting and 1 internal posting. The destination should be Colum Academic for both. The relative open date should be on approval date so that the job is posted as soon as it is approved by HRS and the provost office. In general, academic postings usually don't have a remove date. They stay open until the position is filled. I would remove the posting once the department submits an offer for approval. If you do not want to put if you do want to put a remove date, it can be no shorter than 30 days. Or if you ever feel like you have more than enough applicants after the 30 days and don't want to review more, you can always reach out to me and I can pull the posting down before you're ready to make an offer, just so you don't receive more applicants. Just send me an email. All right, at the bottom of the page, you can click preview to see what your job posting will look like on the website. I highly suggest you do this because sometimes you're copying and pasting from another document that you might have into the job boxes. But when you click preview, you'll see that the formatting is not pretty. It is not fluid and it just doesn't look very professional. So I always suggest to go in here and make sure all the fonts are the same. It's bolded where you want it to be bolded and things like that. One thing I learned recently, if you copy and paste from a Word document, that's where you're going to start having formatting problems. You should copy from Notepad and then you won't have formatting problems. Once you have completed filling in all required fields, you can then click Save and Submit. You will not be able to see the Approval tab until you click Save and Submit. You also can't upload documents under the Activity and Attachments tab until you submit for approval. Seems a little backwards, but unfortunately, that's how the program was designed. Once you click Save and Submit, the Approval tab will appear and you can create the approval chain. This is the chain flow for all tenure, tenure track, NTT, and unranked titles for all but School of Medicine hires and all abridged hires. Please note, School of Medicine hires have a different order for NTT and unranked titles. The hiring manager is the department initiator. Then it should go to your college school delegated approver, which is usually your division HR or fiscal officer. Then it goes to HRS. I am where it says academic recruiter group, that is me, or sorry, it shows up as multiple approvers recruiter group. That's me. You don't need to add my name separately from that. That will go to me directly. Then you would have an IDE contact. When we have an IDE contact, But for now, you won't have to add that person. I'll just review the diversity recruitment plan for IDE. And then it would go to Chris Riley Tillman in the provost office for final approval. Before moving along the chain, remember to go to the Activities and Attachments tab to upload all of the documents needed for approval. The necessary documents needed for approval are listed here. So you need the academic justification form, dean approval email, any external ad write-ups that you might have. And remember, your ads should match what you have posted on the website. And then your diversity recruitment plan if you did not answer it in just question number 6 under the justification form. Okay, to add people to the approval chain, you will need to click the green plus symbol between the boxes where you want to add the individuals. After clicking the green plus symbol, click the magnifying glass, search by name or employee ID, then select the approver name and click insert. You'll want to repeat these steps for more approvers, then click save. When you have everyone in the chain, you can then click approve, so it will move to the next person in the chain for approval. You can see the current status of the approval by looking at the chain to see who in the approval is currently pending with. So if you've already approved it and you're wondering why haven't I seen the final thing, you can always go to this approval chain and see where it's sitting with and maybe nudge them to look at it. All right, abridged hires have a different approval chain than regular full search postings. For abridged hires that are not abridged postdocs or vet med matching program, you'll want the chain to go from the department initiator, then the college school delegated approver, then Chris Riley Tillman in the provost office, and finally it will go to the academic recruiter group, which again is me. I will approve the posting and will link the candidate to the job ID based off the information on the CV that you will have attached to, so the department can enter the offer components. So for the abridged hires, you definitely need the academic abridged hire request form, the dean's approval email, and the candidate CV. This is how I will link the candidate. So hopefully the CV has their email address, their home address, and their telephone number. Postdoc abridged hires are a bit different. The offer letter is not approved by HRS, but is emailed to the postdoc office from the department and will be approved via email. Once you receive the email approval, you can then create the job in eRecruit. You will need to include the email approval from the postdoc office, the candidate CV, and the approved offer letter under the attachments tab. I will approve the posting in the system and will link the candidate to the job ID based off the information on the CV. Once you click approve in the approval chain, this will generate an email to the next person in the chain, letting them know that there is a job posting that needs their approval. If they are already signed into PeopleSoft, they can click the link in the email to go right to the opening. Otherwise, they will need to sign in prior to being able to see the details of the job. They will want to check everything that we just talked about, everything that I said is required. The next person in line, what I definitely look at, they need to just go through and make sure everything is marked, nothing's blank, and everything's correct. And then same, just going down the page, they'll be looking at everything. Just for them to see the job posting, they will click on the job posting tab, then click the hyperlink for the job posting title. This will pull up everything that you've entered to appear on the Find a Job website. If they approve, they will click approve, and then the email will generate for the next person in the approval chain.
Leslie, did you see that Aaron has a question in chat?
Oh, nope, I didn't. Let's see. Let's see. Has it been fixed so that the hiring justification field does not blank out after submitting for approval? I always have to reselect that field. Yes, the status reason is what you meant. When we changed it to whatever it's called now, the justification reason, I think, it is fixed. It will not erase, and everyone's very excited about that. But thank you, good question. Because we have added all these things, I should tell you, is because the president has been asking for more reports regarding our recruitments. And it was very difficult to give them any of our reports because, like Aaron just asked, some of the tabs were not showing after we click submit. And then others, we just weren't collecting the information, say like if it was a new posting or if it was a replacement and things like that. All right. Once the HRS team has received the request for a new posting, I will go through to verify everything is completed correctly and that any necessary attachments are included under the activities and attachments page. If anything is missing or needs to be changed, I will edit or push the posting back to the department requesting the change, depending on the edit needed. Once I approve, the IDE contact will then receive email notification, but again, that's not happening right now. I will just continue to look at it and check to make sure that you have a diversity recruitment plan in place. And the diversity recruitment plan, for anyone who's new, that is really just a statement of who you're going to be reaching out to. Where are you going to place your external ads? Who are you going to email to say, hey, go to our website and apply? Or what groups you might know that might provide a diverse candidate pool to see if they are interested in applying. The diversity recruitment plan, it will get approved if you have many options that look like you would get diverse groups of people to apply, but we're not looking for a set number. We're not going to look at your candidate pool and go, oh, you don't have enough diversity. If you can prove to us that you did reach out to a diverse group of people, you can't force people to apply. All we want to be able to prove or show or see is that you tried. You reach as many different groups as possible to apply to your position. All right. Once the diversity recruitment plan is approved, Dr. Chris Riley Tillman in the Provost office will then receive email notification to review the posting. Dr. Riley Tillman will review the justification form, proof that Dean's office has approved the recruitment, and any other documentation you might add under activities and attachments. Once he approves, the job will then post to the website and you will receive an email notification. At this time, if you have external ads you would like to place based on your diversity recruitment plan, you may now proceed. You should not post those until you have approval in eRecruit. Another question? Okay. Applications for academic jobs are manually screened by me based on the minimum qualifications that we discussed earlier. I review new applicants multiple times throughout each workday. Applications meeting the minimum qualifications will be marked with 1 star. So if you ever see underneath the application tabs wondering why are people only 1 star, they look like a great candidate. That was just my way of telling Erica in IDE, these people meet minimum qualifications. So these are the people that you can count as your applicant pool. Once it gets to you, feel free to change the stars if you use that at all, or you don't have to. At the 15-day mark, I will now review the candidate pool, and I'm going to confirm the diversity recruitment plan was implemented. The easiest and fastest way for this to get done is if you do post external ads in diverse areas, just go ahead and upload a copy of that ad so I can see it. Otherwise, I'm going to look up your diversity recruitment plan and go out and Google those places and see if I can find our job. If I don't find it, it's going to slow things down. So again, if you just go ahead and upload proof that you did do what you said you would do, then I can route the applicants at day 15. Once a candidate is routed to the department, hiring managers and search committee members can review the applications. To view applications, you will select the recruitment tile on PeopleSoft, recruitment home, and then search job openings. You can then select search to bring up all positions that are assigned to you. Remember to mark the status as open, so only current open postings will appear in your search. Once the positions have pulled up, you can select the hyperlink for the posting you would like to look at. When the posting is pulled up, you will be able to see all of the applicants that have been routed. From here, you can view the applications and the CVs. Or if you click on the print option all the way to the right side of your screen, you can generate a report that can include everything that has been submitted by the applicant, including CV and any attachments. This is very helpful if you are the one who's actually sending all the applications to the search committee, if they don't want to come into the system or can't come into the system to look up the applicants on their own. This would be a great way of doing it. You can save them as PDFs. When you go in here, you can check mark everything you want included in the PDF. And then at the bottom of the screen, click Save My Selections, and it will generate the report for you. This will produce a very nice and easy to read PDF with all information in one location. Again, this is for search committee members who are not MU employees and therefore do not have security access to PeopleSoft, or if other committee members just don't want to review in the system. The search committee determines who to contact for first and second round interviews. Hiring administrators must update applicant dispositions to report who is being contacted and who is rejected at each step. Before departments can contact any candidate, they must get their candidate pool approved by the IDE contact, or right now that is me. Hiring admins will send an email to the IDE contact and me with the names of who they would like to contact. They also change their disposition status from routed to reviewed. Once IDE gives their approval, then the department can reach out to the candidate. These steps must be repeated for second round finalist or on-campus interviews. The candidate's disposition should be changed to reviewed to interviewed for second round, and an email requesting approval must be sent to me. Once I give my approval, then the department can reach out to the candidate. Search committee then conducts some finalist interviews and selects the final candidate. The disposition status names can be very confusing. I am still actively trying to get them changed. I've been trying for 2 years, but hopefully soon I will win my fight. The following are very important to memorize and should be used properly for each applicant. This really helps us with our data reporting to show how your candidate pool changes throughout the process throughout the interview process. Routed is for candidates who meet minimum qualifications. So that's what I do. I will route the candidates. Reviewed can also be thought of as first round candidates. Candidates with this disposition status are candidates who are in the first round of communication or interviews. This disposition should not be used for candidates who just review their CV. I know that doesn't make sense because it says reviewed, and a lot of departments do get this messed up, but find another way to mark it. You can use the STAR system again or something, but reviewed is only for candidates you are actively going to reach out to. Interview can also be thought of as second round candidates. Candidates with this disposition status are candidates who are asked to come to an on-campus interview or have a Zoom finals interview. Reject is the disposition used for candidates who have not been selected to move forward in the hiring process. Let's see. So yes, I can send this presentation out to you, Sherry, and everyone after this. But also, Erin, dispositioning for staff, I believe so, or in the future it's going to be required. Right now, I'm not positive. You'll want to reach out to Stephanie Harrison or Keisha Jones to see how they want to use the dispositioning. Okay. You can disposition candidates one at a time or by group. To disposition a single candidate, you can go to the row of the person's name and scroll all the way to the right. Click Other Actions, then Recruiting Actions, then Edit Disposition. Here you can choose Reviewed, Interviewed, or Reject. There are many other options to choose, but those are the only 3 that you should be using for academic postings. For the candidates you're trying to disposition for the finalist round, please mark interview and not invite for interview. Invite for interview causes issues with our data, and we are hoping to remove this option in the future. Again, this is something I have been battling for 2 years, but I really think I'm close to getting it taken off. Also note, you should never jump from route to interview. It should always go from route, then reviewed, then interview. If you're only going to be doing 1 round instead of 2 rounds of interviews, that's okay. But just mark it from route to review because that's your first round interviews. And then if you're ready to make an offer after that, just let me know that you're only doing 1 round of interviews and you'll be good to go. To mark candidates as reviewed, you can also just click the icon on the applicant page under the column Mark Review. So this is if you're doing it 1 at a time. To mark candidates as rejected, you can use the shortcut by just clicking the red circle icon with a line through it under the reject column on the applicant page. This will take you to a drop-down where you must select the reason why the candidate is being rejected. You should never select another applicant was hired. This does not provide any information if we were to be audited or sued at a later date regarding our hiring practices. We need a valid reason as to why that person was not selected, not just simply because you hired someone else. That is obvious. You will need to edit the disposition of the candidates to reject for any candidate not moving on to the next phase of hiring process, or any that will not be contacted at all. That being said, say you have 3 finalists and you're ready to make an offer to one of them, you do not need to reject the other 2 until that person accepts the offer, because they might not accept the offer and you might want to go back and make an offer to one of the other 2 that were interviewed. You can disposition several applicants at once if you would like. You would select each of the candidates you wish to disposition, go to the bottom and select group actions, recruiting actions, and then edit disposition there. Like we discussed before, during posting a position, academic postings do not have a remove date. Generally, academic postings are not removed from the web until the hiring manager submits an offer letter. If you would like to stop receiving new applicants because you are far along in the interview process and do not plan to review new applicants, you can email me to remove the posting from the web. And that is really good practice because I always feel bad when I know you guys are way past reviewing new applicants and I still get applicants applying each day. So if you know you're not going to be looking at them, just let me know and I will remove the posting then. Cancel and closing a posting are 2 very different items that are often used incorrectly across campus. Canceling a posting means a failed or discontinued search, whereas closing a position happens when the full hiring process has been completed and once the applicant is hired. Changing a posting to filled close is done by the CAPT team. Hiring managers should not change the posting to canceled or filled close themselves in eRecruit. They should make these requests to HRS if need be. All candidates should receive correspondence from the hiring departments. Correspondence should be sent before you mark a candidate as rejected as an applicant. Correspondence can be sent to individuals or to a group of applicants. You would select all of the applicants you wish to send correspondence to, go to the bottom and click on Group Actions, Applicant Actions, and then Send Correspondence. You will choose the template that best fits your needs, or you can use a blank template and type your own. Make sure you remove your email address from the CC field, or you will receive an email for each person in the list. Same with include interested parties. Be sure to uncheck mark that box, or everyone listed as an interested party will receive emails, and trust me, they don't want to. You can preview the message prior to it being sent as well by clicking preview at the bottom of the page. Here's an example of a regret to inform you email to a candidate not moving forward in the interview process. One of our biggest complaints from applicants on our website is they apply to multiple postings and they never hear anything. They get an automated email saying we've received their application, but after that, nothing. They never hear thank you, but it's already been filled or anything like that. So we're really trying to change that. We're trying to make the application process a little nicer for applicants. And even if it's a reject email, it's better to know than just sitting around hoping that you'll still hear something. After previewing the letter, make sure you go back and click send once you are ready for it to be sent. Now that you know how to post a new job posting, disposition candidates, and communicate with candidates, let's move on to the job offer and onboarding stages. Unlike staff hires, oh, we have some more questions. Let's see. The system email does not include enough info to tell that job is, if they apply to multiple jobs. That is correct. So you can always update that template, and I always suggest to add the job ID that you're talking about in the subject line, so they know which job you're referring to. That's a good point. All right, so unlike staff hires, academic hires have their offer letters created within the department. HRS provides the offer letter templates, but the department is the one to fill in the blanks in the templates. Once you have a draft ready for review, you will upload it under the activity and attachments section. Please note, you should never send an offer letter to a candidate until it has been entered in eRecruit and approved by me and the provost office. The job offer templates are constantly being updated, so you should always download the newest version from our website instead of saving a copy to your desktop or using an old letter that you sent to someone else who has the same title. Please just go to our website, because again, constantly changing, new language from general counsel or changes to the process. So it's good just to get it from our website each time. So if you go to the link and scroll to the very bottom of the page under faculty offers, you will find templates for tenure, tenure track, non-tenure track, unranked, non-regular, and non-benefit eligible titles. To prepare the job offer, you will find the applicants you want to extend the offer to under the applicant tab. Then you will click on other actions on the right side of the page, then click on recruiting actions, and then prepare job offer. On the prepare job offer screen, you will be able to enter the base salary, hiring incentive, or moving allowance. Please keep in mind that moving expenses can only be 5% of the annual salary or $10,000, whichever is less. The hiring incentive can be up to 50% of the annual salary. If you would like to offer more, you must get special approval from the chancellor. You do not add the offer letter here, even though it has an offer letter section. We as a campus or as a system do not use that part of the software. You just upload the offer letter under the activities and attachments tab. Under component is where you select from the drop-down menu either base salary, hiring incentive, or moving expense. Then you will enter the dollar amount. If the person is an hourly paid employee, please enter the hourly rate. If the person is a 12-month faculty, please enter either the annual rate or monthly rate. Make sure to choose the corresponding frequency, either annual or monthly. I often have to send ones back that say 100,000 monthly when they actually meant annual. If the person is 9-month faculty, please enter the amount and choose contract as the frequency. That means 9-month contract. Once you have the base salary and, if necessary, the hiring incentive and moving expense listed, you may then click submit and submit for approval. Oh, and also, I don't think I have it on this slide, but on this page, you do need to select a start date. And don't worry if that can change. It just gives us a general idea when this is going to hit your budget. Okay. Just as with posting approval, you need to add a few people to the approval chain after you. The chain should go from you as the department initiator to your college school delegated approval, then the recruiter group, which is me, and then Dr. Riley Tillman. For abridged postdocs, you would not have to add Dr. Riley Tillman since you will upload the approval from the postdoc office instead. Once HR receives the automated email notification that they have an offer to review, I will review the following. I will ensure the correct offer letter template was used. I will confirm the candidate pool was approved by IDE. I keep a running spreadsheet of every time someone writes saying, hey, we want to interview this person, do you approve? If on my spreadsheet that section is blank, I will not be able to approve this offer unless you send me an email saying, no, remember you did approve this, you just didn't mark it on your spreadsheet, or the department is going to have to give me a very detailed rundown of how the candidates were selected, why some were dropped. It just slows the process down a lot. So just try and enforce this process with the search committee. Remind them often, do not contact anyone until you get approval from HR that your pool is approved. I'm going to confirm that you did proof of reference checks. Reference checks are different than reference letters. Reference checks is defined by the provost office as a two-way conversation. So you might receive a reference letter for a candidate, but you still need someone in the department to call the references and say, thank you for your letter. I noticed you said this. Could you give me a little more information or anything like that? And you can just upload an email stating, we contacted this reference on this date. We discussed this candidate and this is what they said. This gives you a little summary of that there was an actual conversation, especially when you get reference letters directly from the applicant. We can't prove that that reference came from the actual referee and that candidate didn't just write it for them. So this is just to protect us a little more. All right, and you're going to upload those under activities and attachments. I'm also going to confirm candidates were properly dispositioned. So if I still see a lot of people in the route status, I'm going to reach out and ask you to go ahead and reject those. If you have, other people in the interview status, they're most likely going to be the second runner-up if someone declines the offer. And then I'm also going to confirm that the job offer components match what is actually listed in the offer letter. Once the review is complete, I will send communication to Dr. Riley Tillman highlighting items in the offer letter that he should review. A department should not extend an offer to the candidate until both I and the provost office have approved in eRecruit. And the hiring manager receives email notification from the system that the offer has been approved. I know there's been some confusion in the past because maybe the dean's really excited about making an offer. He calls Dr. Riley Tillman and Dr. Riley Tillman says, oh yeah, that sounds like a great hire. The dean will take that as, okay, we can move forward, and they'll send out the offer letter to the candidate before we even look at it. And then when I look at the offer letter, it's missing very important language. So we don't want that to happen. So even if the dean says, well, I talked to the provost and he's okay with it, it needs to get approved in the system so we can confirm the offer letter says what it should actually say. All right, so once the offer has been approved, the department can reach out to the candidate to extend the offer. If the candidate accepts the job offer, the department will then update the disposition to offer accepted. You will do this by finding the applicant in the list of applicants under the applicant tab. Click other actions on the far right side, then recruiting actions, and then accept offer. This will generate the email to the HRS recruiter team to let them know that they can initiate the CBC if applicable. Within the last year and a half, that has changed a little bit. CBCs used to be initiated by the departments, but now they're initiated by us. Again, we only know to initiate it if you mark the job as accepted through this way. There is another way to accept an offer in the system, but we don't get notified when it's done the other way. So make sure you accept the offer this way. It is at this point that you should want to communicate with any candidates that were interviewed but not selected. It would be best to send personal correspondence to each candidate rather than a generic response. All non-interview candidates can be sent through correspondence in eRecruit, but if you actually had an interview on campus with someone or even over Zoom, it might be better for someone on the search committee to reach out to them personally to thank them for applying. You also want to remember to go back and reject any candidates that have not yet been dispositioned to reject and provide a reason. All right, now for the criminal background checks. Once the department has dispositioned the candidate to offer accepted, an email will notify the recruit team to request the CBC if one is needed. If your candidate is an international scholar, please upload the criminal background check for international scholars form so the recruit team knows they are waived from completing the CBC. Make sure this form is uploaded before you mark the candidate as accepting the offer. You can find the form on the HRS website where you find the other offer templates. If you need to request a CBC for a part-time position that did not go through the eRecruit process, you can do so from the HRS website. There is a Qualtrics form that you can complete, and it will email the recruit team to inform them to initiate the CBC for you. Post-secondary education verification is required on the highest education indicated by the candidate. This verification is separate from the department requesting the candidate's official transcripts that are to be sent directly to the department. If the CBC contains any convictions, the provost representative reviews for job relevance. If a candidate is a transfer from a different department, we no longer need a CBC unless the position involves patient care or the employee is transferring from a student title. The candidate should not be able to start work until you have the official transcripts on file, and that's exactly what is stated in the offer letters. You will need to remember to upload a copy to the job ID in eRecruit and email me when this has been uploaded, because I will not get an automated notification that something's been uploaded. I, again, also have a spreadsheet that keeps track of all open positions and everyone that has sent in a transcript. So if it's getting close to a start date, you guys might have already received emails like this from me, but I will say that I'm still waiting on the transcripts and they should not start unless we get them. Once the CBC has been completed, new employee registration, also known as NER, will generate the employee ID number and EPAF if it was posted through eRecruit. Part-time positions, NER will generate the employee ID and then email the department that they can move forward with the EPAF as long as they have all the appropriate approvals. When the department finishes the EPAF, the onboarding email will automatically send to the email address that the candidate listed when they applied. There will be documents for them to complete online, and then they will also have to present their I-9 documents in person to NER, located in Jesse Hall, room 15. When this step has been completed, CAPS will review the e-form and finish the hire as long as everything has been completed correctly. This will load the hire into PeopleSoft HR payroll database. This will change the applicant status to hired, and if appropriate, will change the status of the opening to filled closed. If a person within your department needs to have access to see applications or to monitor positions, they will need to have hiring manager access and complete this training. This can be requested by the division department administrator. Once training has been done, then HRS can request for the person to receive access. You will need their name and employee ID number. Please email the following email addresses for the different types of questions or requests. So CBC questions will go to the requisitions inbox. You should email me if you have any other academic posting offer related questions. You can email me if you want to cancel a job, that you're no longer going to be filling the position. And if for some reason you can't get a hold of me, I have created a step-by-step guide, which is pretty much this presentation in paper form. It's called the Academic eRecruit Guide, and you can find it at the link where all the other documents are housed. Thank you for attending, and if you guys have any other questions, feel free to let me know now, or you can send me an email later and I can chat with you about it offline.